What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl Tanisha coming to you again. How are you doing? Good. I'm glad. I really am. I just came back from another workout, and I don't know what it is about workouts, but I just get so inspired after I work out. I don't know if it's the endorphins. I don't know what it is, but I had an exchange with somebody today on Facebook. So as a result, I would like to just come and talk to people. I've been married before. I've been divorced. I've been single. I've been dating. I've been a lot of different things, right? But one thing I know is that when a person gets a ring, whether it be a wedding ring, that doesn't automatically turn them into a husband or a wife. It does not turn them into a husband or a wife. Just because you have a ring on your finger, it does not change your mindset. It does not change your spirit. That's something that needs to be worked on before you get the ring. That's why they have premarital counseling. That's why they have all these different things to prepare for marriage. I know so many people who get rings but still cheat. I know so many people who get rings but still disrespect the individual who's their spouse. I know so many people who have nice rings. I'm talking about big rings, beautiful rings, but they still don't know how to communicate with the person who they call a spouse. So if you're thinking about getting married, if you're single, if you're thinking about really getting married to an individual, there's some things that you should work on before you even walk down the aisle. You should be having enough self-control that other people don't make you want to get into bed with them. Just because you see a good-looking man or a good-looking woman, you shouldn't automatically have something in you leaping to where, oh yeah, I need to sleep with her. Or, oh yeah, I need to sleep with him. That shouldn't be your first train of thought. That shouldn't even be the direction of your spirit. And if it is the direction of your spirit, you need to really find out if marriage is the thing for you. If you don't know how to communicate prior to getting the ring, nope. Because guess what? Marriage is about communication. We're going to have to communicate about these bills. We're going to have to communicate about children if we have them together. We're going to have to communicate about sex. We're going to have to communicate about who's washing the dishes, who's washing the clothes. We're going to have to communicate about so many different things. And with that being what it is, you need to know how to communicate. And if you don't know how to communicate, it's going to be two individuals who don't know how to communicate trying to be in the same residence, trying to be in the same confines. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You're going to be fighting. There's going to be contention. There's going to be strife. There's going to be anger. There's going to be hurt feelings. There's going to be so many things going back and forth that you're going to get tired, and you're basically going to say, you know what? This is not what I want to do at this point. This is not what I want to do. So you have to ask yourself, people don't talk about so many different things before they get married. Sex. Are y'all talking about sex before y'all get married? He may like it one way. You may like it another way. But nobody's ever talked about it. Nobody has ever shared, well, this is what I'm interested in and this is what I'm interested in. And then by the end of the week, you don't know why, your arms is tied across the back of your neck and you hemmed up somewhere because he like it kinky. You like it missionary. He doesn't like missionary. He like all kind of every position but missionary. But y'all never talked about that. And so now you're in a marriage. And yes, this is something that can be worked through. This is something that can be worked on. But what if he's into something that you really don't want to be involved in? But y'all never talked about it. Y'all never sat down and had a discussion about it. How many children do you want? Some people never sit down and have a discussion about how many children you want. He wants 7 kids. You only want 2. So now you're in this marriage and he wants all 7 kids and you still only want 2 kids. That's going to be an issue. That's going to be a problem because y'all not going to stop having sex. And if you're on birth control and he's thinking that y'all are still working on trying to get children, there's a level of deception there. So talking about children, that's a big thing. Finances. Are y'all talking about finances? Are y'all talking about, well, you know what? I like to save more, spend less. Or the other person may be like, I like to spend more, save less. I like to shop at the most expensive stores. Well, I like to shop at the Goodwill. Well, okay. Well, what about I like to go on expensive vacations whenever I want to? What about the people who say, you know what, I want to save money and I like the money to just be there because I want the money to be there? You have to talk about these things before you get married. Before you get married. Some other things that you might want to talk about. What about friends? Ladies, can he have female friends? Fellas, can she have male friends? Are we talking about it? Must her male friends also be your friends, fellas? Must his female friends also be your friends, ladies? These are things that you might want to talk about before you walk down the aisle. Who's going to wash dishes? Y'all are laughing, and y'all may think this is something simple, but housework is one of the main things that causes contention between two people living together. How do you know? Because I was married for 8 years, and I couldn't get him to wash a dish. I couldn't get him to do any laundry. I couldn't get him to sweep a floor. And it made me mad because I figured we live in the same house. I work, you work. Why can't you pick up a broom? Why can't you throw some clothes in the washing machine? And I felt like you put it all on me. And it made me mad. It made me angry. And I felt some kind of way towards him because he wouldn't help. So ladies and gentlemen, please, fellas, can she cook? Can she cook? Can she do more than ramen noodles and hot dogs? Can she? Or can she just only, I don't know, boil some water, throw a little TV dinner in the microwave? You need to find this out before you get married to her. Because when you come home after a long day and all you got is those 99-cent TV dinners with the Salisbury steak, the corn, and the mashed potatoes that you got to add a whole bunch of salt and pepper to, you're going to find yourself upset. You're going to find yourself thinking like, how did I marry her and she can't cook? And you want a home cooked meal. Yes, you can go out and buy takeout. But if you anything like me, after a while, home cooking and takeout food is not the same. Home cooking and takeout food is not the same. Fellas, does she clean up the house? Or is she kind of nasty? I'm just saying. When you get off of work or she gets off of work, are y'all going to split the chores? Or is she don't wash dishes? She don't even put them in the dishwasher. She doesn't clean clothes. The clothes pile up for months. You need to find these things out before you get yourself in a situation to where you're not happy. Yes, I understand you want the ring. Yes, I understand the gown is going to be beautiful. Yes, I understand that the whole situation is going to be amazing. My blessing is sent in your direction. But my question is this: have you asked the important questions? Because after the honeymoon, you have to come back and be with this person in the same house, under the same roof. And now you all have not established any kind of standards, no kind of guidelines. You all have never said, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And now you're just expecting the other person to know. And you know what's one of the biggest things that causes arguments between people? An expectation that they know something that you've never told them. You never told him that you don't like a man who doesn't have good hygiene. Let's talk about that. Fellas, ladies don't like when your feet stink. Okay? Ladies don't like when you come. I get it. You want to kiss me in the morning. I get it. But can you just hit them back teeth a little bit before we get all lovey-dovey? Because me personally, I do not like kissing anyone who has morning breath. Because all I'm thinking of is the bacteria that has had a chance to marinate on your tongue overnight. And now you want to kiss me with that same tongue. Look, baby, I love you. I do. But just go hit the throat. Just hit the throat. Maybe even just get a tad bit of Listerine. Boom. Hit it back. Shake it up. Gargle. Whatever it is that you need to do. And then let's kiss. Let's do whatever it is that we need to do. You see what I'm saying, fellas? Does she keep her body fresh? I mean, I'm just saying, these are real life things that I hear from people. Fellas, you may want to do a little something in the morning. But if it ain't right, because she don't believe in showers daily or baths on a regular, y'all think I'm playing. Does he leave the toilet seat up? We see this on TV and it's the source of so many different arguments, but we act like this is not real. I don't like when a man leaves the toilet seat up. Yes, I can go in there and put it down, but at 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm barely, seeing whatever and my contacts are not in, and I go and I try to sit my big old rump on the seat and I fall down into the toilet because you didn't put the toilet seat down. Or he pees around the toilet. Some men's aim is not right. Some men's aim is not good. Therefore, he may pee on the seat or he may pee around the toilet. And I'm talking about grown men. I got a 9-year-old son and he does very, very well. But like I said, I've been married and I've been in some situations where I was with grown men, and they couldn't make the pee into the toilet. And y'all may sit there thinking like, I never thought about these things. People never think about these things until they become an issue. Another thing, if y'all are out in public, how are arguments going to be handled? Are we going to just wait till we get home to have discussions? Or are we going to have the discussion right there, which can be very disrespectful to both parties? Husbands, don't check your wife in front of other people. Wives, don't check your husband or potential husband in front of other people. I feel like at all times you all should be presenting a united front. When they see her, they see you. When they see him, they see you. We're a team. We're in this together. When you see me, you see him. When you see him, you see me. Contention, dissension, strife, that is one of the main reasons why people do not last. Okay? It's either going to be money. It's either going to be somebody committing infidelity. So you need to find out. You never really know what a person is about until you're in a relationship with them. I get it. But there are some clues prior to you marrying an individual as to what you're getting your hands on. Now, if when y'all were together, boyfriend and girlfriend, and dating, and he had a baby on you then, he had a full baby on you. I mean, a full baby. Like, y'all had been together forever, but he had a baby with another female while he was dating you, while y'all were in a relationship. That would make me think, sir, you had a whole baby on me while we were dating. We were already supposed to be exclusive. We were already supposed to be committed in that sense. So you think because a person gets a ring, that lust or that desire or that eyes for another woman goes away? Do you really think that? Do you really think that? I believe that who a person is before you marry them is very, very similar to who they're going to be after you marry them. Unless, of course, you recognize and work out those issues and those kinks, and you get some level of understanding prior to you walking down that aisle. If there's no level of understanding, if there's no conversation, if there's no, well, I should have did this, I shouldn't have did that, we should do this, we should do that. If there's no discussion there, then it's open. It's a free-for-all. It's a free-for-all. Nobody's had a discussion. Nobody said, yes, this is what we're going to do and this is what we're not going to do. This is what I like and this is what I don't like. Nobody said anything. So now you're leaving it up to the person to assume. You're leaving it up to the person to expect. You're leaving it up to the person to really to just do whatever they want to do until you say that's not what you're going to do. Until you say that's not what I like. Until you say that's not what I'm going to partake in. Nobody knows because you never had the conversation. So just because you have a ring on your finger, that does not make you a husband. Legally, it makes you a husband or a wife. Yes, it does. But spiritually, mentally, there's a lot of people who have beautiful rings. I'm talking about 4, 5, 6, 7 carat rings. But their mind has not shifted to be a wife, and their mind has not shifted to be a husband. And I'm just thinking to myself, if so many people would talk about these things prior to walking down the aisle, prior to making that final, prior to signing your name on that marriage certificate. And I get it. Even if you do get married, some people switch up after the marriage. But at least you can say I've had the discussion. At least you can say I've communicated my desires. At least you can say I said what I said when I said what I said. So anything after that, then that's that person's decision to defy whatever standards or whatever rules or whatever whatever plateaus or whatever standards that you all came up with prior to the marriage. I'm reminded of Jeannie Mai. Now, she was with her husband for about 10 years. And I don't understand how you're with someone for 10 years and you don't want children, but then all of a sudden he wants children. And I get it. People's opinions change. People's desires change. What people want changes. I get it. I get that. But that's a big decision. You've been with a woman for 10 years who's already said she doesn't want children. But you all of a sudden want children. After 10 years, you want children. And so that marriage ended in divorce. And it just really confuses me. I'm almost sure she said they talked about children prior to getting married. And I get it. People's opinions change. People's thoughts change. People's concerns change. People's standards change. People change. Psalms 1:19 says, put no confidence in the flesh. But not yours and not anyone else's. So basically what that means is that any given time it's possible for them to change their mind about you, to change their thoughts about the situation. At any given time, a person is capable of changing. I would like to think that when we get married, when we get into a marriage, what we say before God and what we say before that pastor and what we say before all of those witnesses holds to be true. And it holds to be true into eternity. That would be amazing. But with the divorce rate, 60% to 70%, and it's still about the same percent even amongst Christians. Now, mind you, marriages are supposed to be an institution created by God, right? And yet the Christians are also getting divorces at the same rate that the world is getting divorces, if not higher. So my question is this: what's going on in the world and in the church to where people are just getting divorces so quickly, so readily? Things are changing. It's nothing for you to file divorce. What's going on? And it's not just divorce after 2 years, 3 years. I've seen some people get divorces after 40 years. I knew a young lady, well, she wasn't necessarily young, but I knew a woman, never worked a day in her life. This is one of my clients, never worked a day in her life. Her husband took care of everything. The 2 children, I think it was 2 or 3 children, took care of all of the children. All of the children went away to college. First child, second child, I think third child. When the third child went away to college, and this was after 43 years of marriage, the father came to the wife and told the wife, the child is gone, our last child is gone, I don't want to be married anymore. Excuse me, sir? After 43 years, you don't want to be married anymore? Because all of our children are now off to college? Because all of our children are out of the house, now you don't want to be married anymore? You don't want to be married to me anymore? And that's and it broke my heart for her. It wasn't even my marriage, but it broke my heart for her. She's never worked a day in her life. Now, granted, of course, she got some level of alimony, or she got some level of financial support. So it wasn't like she was just out there on the street or anything like that. But for 43 years, she dedicated her life to an individual who then came and said, you know what? I've changed my mind about you. Right? That's not everybody's story. But a 60% divorce rate says to me that that is a lot of people's story. So I believe, and the whole purpose of this video was for me to come to people who have not made the decision to get married yet. And you may be thinking about getting married. You may be contemplating getting married. You may want to get married. There are questions and there are answers that you need to discuss and communicate prior to walking down that aisle. Will communicating and discussion change anything? Well, life is going to happen, however it's going to happen. But I believe that you will be better prepared. You will be better equipped mentally. You will be better knowledgeable. You'll be better spiritually aware of what you're getting yourself into. If you have these conversations prior to. If you have these conversations prior to, you can prepare yourself and you can ask yourself, is this really something that I want to be a part of? Is this something that I really want to bring myself under subjection to? Because ladies, when you become a wife, all that he is all that you marry. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Sirs, when you marry her, you marry the good, the bad, and the ugly. It would make sense for you to find out what is the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of times we just focus so much on the good. That's all we see. Good, 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 good. All the while, this bad and ugly is over here slapping us upside the head, but we don't see it. We have on blinders like those horses do. We don't see the bad and the ugly. We don't pay attention to the bad and the ugly. We just pay attention to the good. Oh, he's so nice. He's so sweet. He buys so many things for me. Oh my gosh, he answered the phone when I call. Oh my goodness, he gives me attention. Oh my goodness, he just really loves me. But we didn't see that he cheats on you. We didn't see, oh, he has anger issues. Oh, we didn't see that he doesn't know how to communicate. Oh, we don't pay attention to all these other issues. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Excuse me, this has nothing to do with anyone else. We didn't see, oh, he has this issue with lust. Oh, we didn't see that he has this issue with lying. Oh, I didn't see that he has this issue. He has, 12 other children that I'm going to have to help him support. We didn't pay attention to, oh, well, his family got a lot of issues in it. We didn't pay attention to, oh, he's like hurt from life. Life has hurt him and he's not healed from that hurt. Therefore, he's broken. But I'm going to try to marry this broken person. And I'm not saying that all of us go into marriage if you get married with some level of issues. But a lot of us are not finding out what is the level of issues that this person has. We think we're dealing with a person with about 15, 20% issues, right? When in actuality, we get into a relationship with this individual and head towards marriage, and we realize that we're dealing with about 85, 92% issues. You got to ask yourself, and you got to make these hard and fast, not fast, but these hard and valuable decisions before you get married. This is so you can prevent divorce court as much as possible. That's what you call risk management, right? You want to prevent divorce as much as possible, right? You don't want to go through divorce. I've been through divorce. And divorce, I was married for 8 years and I went through divorce. Divorce was one of the hardest things I've gone through in my entire life. Okay? So much to the point so I contemplated just checking out. Like that's where I was with that. Like checking out. Like I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to deal with this. Like it got that bad, right? So divorce was a tearing apart of two souls that had come together. And after my divorce, I would cry for no apparent reason. I would see places that he and I went to go eat. I would cry. I would see places where he and I, we went there, we did this. I would see a commercial about Florida, and he and I went on vacation for Florida, and I would just start crying for no apparent reason. And this happened for about, like maybe 3 months after, and I was the one who filed for divorce. That's the thing. I'm the one who filed for divorce. And I filed for divorce for one of those reasons that I mentioned before. He and I never had a conversation about anything. And finances was one of the biggest issues between he and I. So when I filed for divorce, like I said, it was almost like, I don't know if you ever had anyone die in your family, but when I filed for divorce and when I became divorced, even though when I became divorced from him, it felt like a significant person in my life or a part of me had died. Like literally. It felt like he had died. And I went through anger. I went through depression. I went through hurt. I went through bitterness. I went through so many different emotions until, of course, I just gave it over to God. And then God came in and he was like, all right, Tanisha, I got you. And he healed me from all of those things. But divorce was something that I would not wish that on my worst enemy. So to prevent that, in the beginning, ask those questions. Find out those answers. Develop a level of communication with your significant other so that when you become one, or you enter into that process of becoming one, it's not as difficult. It's not as tedious a process. It's not as angry a process. Okay? So this is for all my individuals who are thinking about getting married. Ask the questions. Have the communication. Finances. Talk about them. Sex. Talk about it. Friends. How we gonna handle it? Talk about it. How we gonna handle the house and keep it clean? Whose responsibilities are chores? Who's gonna work? Who's not gonna work? How we gonna split the bills? Are we doing 50-50? Are we doing 100-0? What are we doing here? How many kids do you want? Right? These are all things that you should really talk about ahead of time. How do you feel about saving? How do you feel about spending? Do you like to go to on vacations? Are you a homebody? That's another thing that I hear a lot of people having an issue with. Excuse me. She want to go out and dance, have a good time, because that's how he met her. She was a dancer. She wanted to go out and have a good time, but he's a homebody. So now y'all done got married. She wants to go out. He wants to stay home. He doesn't want to go with her. She's upset and resentful because he doesn't want to go with her. Ma'am, you married a homebody. Sir, you married somebody who likes to go out and enjoy themselves. Y'all should have talked about this ahead of time and determined whether this was going to be an issue or not. You see what I'm saying? We can prevent so much trouble. We can prevent so many issues if we would just talk about and be about and communicate and discuss so many things ahead of time, before the ring, before the wedding, before the aisle, before the dress, before the church, before the family, before the caterer. Talk about those things. I'm encouraging you to talk, and then talk some more. Find out these things, because I want to see good marriages. It really hurts me to see. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because as a makeup artist and a hairstylist, when I was really doing makeup and I was really doing hair, women, a lot of females confided in me. And I'm not the kind of female who just automatically feels like whatever another female tells me is exactly what it is, right? Because typically there's like a few different sides of the same story. So I would just ask questions, and before we got to the end of the discussion, she would recognize that, hey, there's some things that I can do different. Or, hey, there's some things that we didn't talk about. Or, hey, there's some ways. So I'm encouraging anyone who wants to get married to recognize that it's not boyfriend, girlfriend. You are now becoming one with this individual. You are now bringing together two families. You are bringing together two finances. You are bringing together two mindsets. You are bringing together two sets of emotions. You are bringing together two spirits. You are bringing together two bodies from time to time. You are bringing all these things together. So it would benefit you to find out what this other component, the husband or the wife, is comprised of. So when you bring them together, you see what I'm saying? It can be a more easier process, a better process. Not saying it's always going to be easy, because it's not. It's two people from two different places in the world have come together to become one. However, it's easier with God when you put him in the middle, because, if you're following his word, then his word is his word. You know what I mean? And it doesn't change based on who's saying it. So if the context is you holler at your husband, or he hollers at you and he's rude and disrespectful, the word says, hey, a soft word turns away wrath. It says be peaceable with all men at all times. So if that's what the word says, then guess what? I shouldn't be hollering at you. Guess what? I should try to maintain and seek peace in our household, because wherever there's strife, there's so many other spirits just waiting. And how can a house stand if the two are divided? We got to walk together if we're going to be in a relationship together. I can't be having one mindset and you have a whole nother mindset, and we feel like we're going to get anywhere. That's why two people typically, if they're not on the same wavelength and they're at least trying to head in the same direction. If you have a person who's trying, I'm going to give them an applause. They're trying to do better. They're trying to communicate. They're trying to find out what it is that you like. They're trying to find out how can they make the situation better. They're trying to find out how to be a good wife. They're trying to find out how to be a good husband. They're actually putting in some effort to do that. Kudos. I'm going to give that person a pat on their back all day long, every single time. But I see so many relationships where you've been with the same person and dealing with the same issues. Ma'am, if he's still cheating on you after 5 years, if he's still cheating on you after 10 years, if he's still being frivolous after 2 or 3 years, and y'all been in a relationship before y'all gotten married, and he's still doing the same things that he used to do you really think a ring, a piece of gold or silver or platinum, or whatever, onyx, whatever jewel you like, or whatever mineral you like, do you really think that's going to change his spirit? It's not even really his mind. It's his spirit. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that. And don't be in such a rush to get married. Don't be in such I got to get married before I turn 35 because everybody else around me is married. So I got to get married before I'm 35. Look, ma'am, sir, just because everybody else around you is married doesn't mean that it's your season to get married. And you can prematurely jump into something that's not ready for you to be in. And you can find yourself going through a whole lot of trouble that you did not have to go through. You did not have to go through. You know how many older ladies have come to me and have said to me, I got married too fast. I got married too quickly. I didn't really know him. Ma'am, you just dedicated your life to somebody who you just met. You just dedicated your life to somebody who you never really understood or got to know. That's what you did. You're dedicating your life to someone and you don't know them. Think about that, ladies. Think about that, sirs. You should want to get to know an individual prior to walking down that aisle. Will you know them 100%? Nope. Because during the marriage, you're going to learn things. You're going to find out things. Things are going to change. Things are going to become different. However, there's some things that we can find out. There's some things I can find out by watching how you operate. If you're always broke, I'm talking about always broke. You don't know how to manage your money. Sir, we have a problem. If every time I come around, there's a issue with a female or there's an issue with a male, whether he's too friendly, you too friendly, it's just always an issue of boundaries. I'm gonna need to, we got to figure this out. We got to figure out this boundary thing. No woman should be texting you after 9 or 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock. What is she texting you about that couldn't wait till business hours? And she's not your baby mother. She's not related to you. She's not a cousin, a niece, a sister. And she's texting you? What's the conversation? Hey, sis, what are we talking about? Hey, sir, why are you texting my woman? I don't understand. What's the problem, bro? I don't get it. So you have to be mindful of having those important discussions, communicating about these important issues prior to the ring. Okay? Prior to the ring. A ring does not make a man a husband. A ring does not make a woman a wife. They're just beautiful pieces of jewelry until the mind changes, until the spirit changes, and then until his actions change. That's when he becomes a wife. That's when he becomes a husband. Or that's when she becomes a wife. And you can see a person progressing in a certain direction prior to them walking down the aisle. Okay? So I just wanted to share that with you. Like I said, I just came back from my workout class and it was wonderful. I always get inspired when I come back. I don't know what it is about working out. I don't know if it's those dang hormones or whatever to get the... But I loved my class tonight. It was awesome. It was amazing. I feel like I burnt a lot of calories. And I like it too because they're always like, good job. I see you working hard. Da, 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 da. Because they don't think a big girl can get up in there and, hey, don't get it twisted. Up under this fat, it's some muscle. And it's some, okay, y'all. When I chisel all this fat off, don't be saying I didn't tell y'all. I'm just saying, don't be saying I didn't say what I'm saying right now. But anyway, this has been your girl Tanisha giving you a big hug from afar. I want people to get married and have their best life with their husband and with their wives and go on and have beautiful children, beautiful families, beautiful homes, beautiful lives. And when they get old, they're able to look back and say, you know what? We had a good life, baby. We had a good run together. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see people ending up in divorce court. As a family lawyer, when I used to practice law, I saw some terrible situations. Kids can't go see this parent. The kids get upset at one parent for the other parent leave. It was just a lot of hurt and a lot of pain and I don't know what happened in all of those marriages, granted. But what I'm saying is that if we talk about these important issues ahead of time, then I feel like we can negate some of these failed relationships, some of these failed marriages. So again, this has been Tanisha giving you a big hug from afar. And until next time,